It's the story of the one.
Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller prospecting. Welcome to another Tuesday Night Gold Panning Fever episode number 189. And just like the title says, tonight we're going to be going through some more Vendetta Paydirt. Today is his 100% ROI bag. I don't remember what I paid for this. I didn't use a secret shopper or anything like that. I mean, it had to be close to $400 because it says on there 3.9 grams. So I saw it on this site one night late at night and it was like, okay, I got to grab this before he sells out. But all right, let me catch up with chat. Kind of out of it as usual. HD, Weezen, thank you for being here and being mods. I appreciate it. Brad Thompson, I don't know what was going on with YouTube when I set this. When I originally set this video live show, it had the wrong thumbnail. Then I went back and fixed the thumbnail. Then it had the wrong date, and I changed the date, and for whatever reason, the date didn't update. So, and when I saw your comment, I was like, why? What's wrong with that? And I looked, and it showed that it was supposed to be live yesterday. I don't know. YouTube's always got to junk something up. 308 Prospecting, thank you very much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. Mary, how are you? How are you doing today? Kristen Reed, Michael Reed, thank you both very much for being here. Tomcat, Josh, how's it going? And you're very welcome, Kristen. Thank you. Mike from the Gold Vlog, how's it going? Metally Corrupted, Chris W's, SRIP63, Stephen LeBlanc, how's it going? Chasing Cheddar with Curtis, how's it going? Altars Crafted. Anyone, if I miss you, I apologize. Jason G, how's it going? Well, I got no notice again for the show. Well, that's not YouTube's fault. That was my fault for not double checking YouTube, Jason. For whatever reason, the show was listed as supposed to be live yesterday. So I just adjusted it like 3 minutes ago. No idea how that happened, but you know, I'm gonna blame it on YouTube and not me being old and senile. So John Gear, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. All right, so yeah, tonight we're going to be doing one of my favorite Paydirt sellers. If you don't know, my two favorite Paydirt sellers are Vendetta Prospecting and the two mics, Vendetta Prospecting and Gold Nugget Sales. It's why half of one of my shelves of wonders pretty much dedicated to the two of them. They are two of my favorite sellers. I think they both put way more into the community than they probably take out. Vendetta has kind of slowed down a little bit because he's family first focused right now. So he has stepped back a little bit. But in the beginning, when Vendetta first opened, he was helping everybody in the community, just doing a ton. Mike from Gold Nugget Sales does some wonderful things. Great asset to the community as well. So two of my favorite sellers. And tonight, since this is pretty much going to be a lot of Arizona Paydirts this month, Vendetta's 100% ROI bag. So, Aaron Mack, how's it going? Troubled One, how's it going, Chris? TM, how's it going? Chocolate chip, granola bars. I got some granola bars. I try to stay away from those because otherwise I get one and I just start eating. Because I have dark chocolate granola bars and then I have peanut butter granola bars. And I keep those for my daughter so when she has to leave for work early in the morning or something, and she doesn't have time for breakfast, she can grab those to take out and leave. But if I start eating them, then I'll eat the whole thing. So, Alan Curie, how's it going? Yeah, and also, if anyone hasn't noticed, I added a beginner bag of Gold Nugget Sales to the shelf. Now, typically, again, I don't put anything on my shelf, the actual wood shelves behind me, unless it is a seller who has gone out of business or it's something really, really special. And two of the bags that I think are really, really special is a Vendetta bag, because it's in the burlap type bag. It's in the bag, so I had to add it to my shelf. And the other one being the beginner bag. Every time I go to Gold Nugget sales website, that's the bag that catches my eye. I just love it. It's just, it's a beginner bag where you have training wheels. I just love it. So I asked him to make me a custom bag, and this is the custom bag so I could put it on my shelf. So thank you very much for doing that, Mike. And I had to remove something off the shelf. I won't tell y'all who I had to remove, but I did replace that. And the person I removed is because they started selling Paydirt again. So, but all right, let me pop out chat so I can keep up with it. Aaron Mack, well, I hope you're feeling better, brother. All right, got chat open. Let's fix it to live chat. There we go. Eric's Random Projects and Reviews. How's it going? A3 Sky Warrior, what's up, brother? I was thinking about you today because I was looking at chicken coops today. I was thinking, I was like, I want to get a chicken coop. Who could I hit up, ask a whole bunch of questions about chicken coops? I really want to raise bees too, but my neighbors would probably not like it so much. So, Shane Brithero, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. Sean McClelland. Don't forget about Chicken Miner this year. Yeah. I wish there was, I have to look. Does he actually have like an email blast that he posts out? Because I swear every year, the only time I find out when he's selling is when I start seeing reviews. And when I start seeing reviews, he's sold out. So, Merv Miller. Well, I appreciate you. It's always Tuesday, always 6 o'clock Central. You can set your clock on it. I might be a minute or two late, but I'm here 99% of the Tuesday. So that's why this is show number 189. So, Mega Silver Stacker. Thank you. I appreciate that. You just built a chicken coop. I know I was looking at the different things like building a chicken coop just from scratch, which, I didn't really want to do. I would rather repurpose them. So then I was looking at sheds where you repurpose a shed into it. But then I didn't know if I wanted to do that because sheds tend to be more expensive, or just doing the route where you buy the little chicken coop and then just the big fencing. So I don't know. Maybe one of these days, because I really do miss eating eggs. And eggs that have gone down, they're like $3.50 a dozen now. But you never know when their corporate mindset will say, let's rob everyone again. So, and plus, I know it would kind of drive my neighbor a little bit crazy, but I wouldn't have to worry about her getting stung by bees. All right, Refotris. Alaskan Assassin, how's it going, brother? Let me know when you get the shirt in. I saw mine has started moving, so. And thank you very much again, 308 Prospecting. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Dorothy, thank you for joining this channel. Sorry I didn't see you pop in, but thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. Keep the neighbors happy. Well, that's what I figured, because I don't need, when I did used to eat eggs, it was like 2 a day or 1 a day. It wasn't that many. And you got to have like at least 2 or 3 chickens to keep themselves so they don't go crazy and go mad. And that would produce a lot more eggs than I would use. So I figured, I just give them to my neighbors as well. So either that, or if they get on my nerves, throw them at them. And yes, Chicken Miner has dirt now. All right. Well, I just wrote a note. I'll have to check. Yeah, the thing with sellers like Chicken Miner and, Yukon Alley is it's so hard to get from them because unless I'm lucky that, Allison tells me. She lets me know when she's planning on selling so I can post the information. I might have to reach out to Chicken Miner and see if they, would be willing to let me know before they start selling so I can, let everyone know, post it on my channel, and so, they could sell out quicker. But I don't know. Because I missed them last year, and I think I missed them the year before, so. TM, that's it. They have to go back to just trick-or-treating nowadays, just getting candy. So, and even candy's too expensive. It's crazy. I think it was not last year. Maybe it was last year. I was like, maybe. Because usually I just avoid all the trick-or-treaters. And there's not a lot that come in my neighborhood. But the year before last, actually a couple came in the neighborhood, and I thought, well, this year maybe, I'll buy some just to give out if kids come by the neighborhood. But then I went and looked, and it was like a bag was like $30. And I was like, well, you got to buy like 3 bags. I'm like, that's $100. That's my groceries for, a week and a half. So I was like, nope, I'm just going to turn off the lights and watch a movie. Daniel Wilson, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Mergers suck. That's why I quit the working world. No. All right, let's go. Let me see. What was gold price today? What's gold spot right now? I saw gold since last week. Gold's been jumping everywhere from 103 to 110. It was, what was it? 108, I think was the highest. 108 something was the highest I saw, and it's 104.64. So not too bad. It's been staying not steady, but it's being steady on the lower end. So, which is good. So I still think it's too high. I mean, I know the gold stackers are just absolutely loving this, but as a Paydirt buyer, I'm not liking this so much at the 104. So, but I will say I am going to start a new program on Patreon. It's supposed to start this month, but I've kind of been behind. I have to rebuild and build a new spreadsheet to start doing it. But I'm going to start a new daily thing on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon member, you'll be getting a daily notice every single day on Patreon, Monday through Friday. I won't do it on the weekends, just because cutting grass and doing other things. And I won't tell you exactly what it is, but it's going to be tracking gold in a sense. So that'll be up. I might start it like a week or so before the end of the month, but it'll start next month, definitely on the 1st. So something new just to add to being Patreon members. You'll get a little bit of gold info every single day. So, well, Monday through Friday, every working day. That's it, Brad Thompson. Yeah, it's crazy. Like my kids, so typically when my kids come over, I have them, half the time. I have my kids 50% of the time, or I have my son legally 50% of the time. My daughter's old enough where she doesn't have to come over. She just chooses to come over when my son does. But some days she goes and does things with her friends. She has sleepovers, or, she goes out with her boyfriend. They go out of town, things like that. And then when my son comes over, I'm like, well, I don't want to cook because it's just me and you. If it's just me, I make soup and throw some ramen, throw some chicken in or something, basic stuff. But I don't want to full cook something for him. So then I start always looking at fast food. I'm like, well, we'll just go get some burgers or this. And it's so expensive, it's ridiculous. It's like, well, I might as well just go to Walmart and get a steak and cook it for them. So, Dina, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Brian and the twins, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Steven Stark. Crash, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the only thing that is still cheap for fast food is pizza. Pizza is still the only thing that is cheap. I mean, we priced it out. What was it? The other day, my son, we worked it out. We were going to get Wendy's or something, or he said he wanted to get fast food. And I said, okay. So I opened up all the apps to see, and Wendy's was going to be like $28, something like that. Wendy's was $28. I think Taco Bell was like $25 even, and that's Taco Bell. Taco Bell was notorious for always being the cheapest one. And then Sonic was like $28 too. But then pizza, we could go get a pizza, and the pizza would have been like $22 for pizza. But it would have been pizza where we would have had lunch the next day as well, too. So pizza is just the only thing really now. And I hate doing that because, you don't want to tell them like, hey, we're going out to eat. But, you're better off nowadays. I mean, you can go, I was telling them the other day, it's like Buffalo Wild Wings, $20, all you can eat. I was like, that's a better deal. Just don't get anything to drink, get some water, and just starve all day. Like if you're cutting grass or something all day, doing some work, then afterwards go there, $20, all you can eat. So. I mean, that beats going to Wendy's and spending $20 getting a hamburger and, having to feel full and, an hour later still being hungry. So. Oh, and thank you very much, Nightbot. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing the awareness. So, but I'm going to be curious with the gold, back to the gold. I was thinking about it today with gold prices going up, I'm curious if there's going to start being more and more Paydirt sellers or less, or an in-between of the both. Because Paydirt back in the day, like when I first started doing this channel, when I first started panning Paydirt, there wasn't a ton of sellers, but that's when gold spot was $30 a gram, and there wasn't a ton of sellers. Gold jumped up to like $50, $55, and that's when you started seeing a lot more people hitting, the Gold Rush show started coming out and being more popular, but then you started seeing a lot of people flooding eBay. And I'm going to be curious if legitimate sellers are going to close down more. You're going to start seeing a lot of like good sellers, ones that are giving you 80% ROIs, closing just because they don't get enough business to make it worth their time to do it, because they've got to start charging $130, $140 for a bag of Paydirt. But then you're going to start getting an influx of people who are going to make huge promises on eBay and websites saying, you're going to get rich, you're going to get an ounce of gold and this and this. Because people will look and say, man, if I get an ounce of gold, that's $3,500 and it's only going to cost me $80 for this bag of Paydirt. So I'll be really curious to see over the next, especially during the summer. The summer seems to be when Paydirt seems to, a lot more sellers come out because a lot more people can go hit the rivers and collect a whole bunch of material and fill some 5-gallon buckets and start posting on eBay. So yeah, the good old days. Oh man, I just wish I'd have known, like you buy Paydirt, you buy gold, you kind of know, okay, gold's going to go up. Statistically, gold's going to go up. It goes down a little bit, but it's statistically going to keep going up. But just at this rate, from $35 a gram to $105 a gram in essentially 10 years, that's just crazy, So I was reading something today where they were saying they thought by, in the next 4 years, it'll be at $6,000 an ounce. I was like, if it doubles, I don't know. If it goes up to 6,000, it'll definitely kill the Paydirt hobby. I think everyone will start having, it's going to become copper Paydirt panning. So, because silver's no fun. You get, silver shot is no fun. Panning out, and you get crystalline silver, it's a pain in the butt. You can get copper, so maybe we'll have to go to copper Paydirt. So just sold 48 grams of placer and nuggets to fund my down payment on my truck. Ugh. You should have hit me up. I'd have bought about 8 of those grams. Yeah. Who'd you sell it to? Just out of curiosity, and you don't have to say if you don't want to. I don't want to put you on the spot. Gene Cloth, thank you for joining the show. Teo, how's it going? I saw you made another account on my Facebook. I mean, I'm not my Facebook, on my Patreon. What was that about? If you couldn't log in or something? The hedge of that gold is ridiculous. Yeah, gold. I mean, I wouldn't speculate on anything whether it goes to stocks or gold or silver or anything. I think it's just a fool's game unless you know the ins and outs. Like you have to have insider information to do that. So, a buddy of mine. Well, there you go. That's good. He probably gave you a much better price than anyone else would. So, yeah, it's always good. So, but I'll be curious to see how Paydirt evolves over the next couple months. Going to switch emails? That's all right. Because that's why I looked. I was like, well, because a lot of times I'll see somebody, they make a second account, and I'm like, I'll look, and it'll have the exact same email, and I'm thinking, okay, they just made it trying to recover their password or something. But then I saw you had 2 different emails, so I was like, oh, he's just doing his stuff. So, and I was going to message you on it, but then I saw you tonight, so I was like, oh, I'll just ask him. Jeffrey Button, how's it going? Switching emails sucks. So it just, I have an email, like I just deleted like probably 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, but a joint email I had with my ex-wife. I mean, it's just because I had so much stuff that we shared that was going to us, like the little stupid stuff that you don't have the time to go change, Depop or places we were buying clothes, for my son and things like that, the Nike store, all these, just, that was the one that we used for every single store when we were buying my kids clothes. So every time I wanted to buy my kids more clothes, I'd be like, oh, let me go here, let me go there, we log in the Walmart account, everything was tied to that one. And then just a couple months ago, I was like, okay, I'm just sick of logging into this one. I'm like, let me just switch everything over. And I spent like 3 days switching everything over. And I was like, whatever I didn't switch over, I'll lose it and just open new account. So back in 2018, oh, well, that sucks. Yeah, that's what I told my daughter, if she ever gets married, simple, cheap wedding. Do not spend a ton of money on a wedding. It's not the 30s anymore. It's really not. And even back then, even in the 30s and 40s, people didn't spend huge amounts on weddings. I mean, they would have a nice wedding, but things were cheaper back then. So, you could have a nice wedding with everyone at the church. And, it wasn't, a brand new house down payment. It wasn't even a house pretty much. But nowadays, with the prices of wedding and everything else, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And to be honest, again, it's not the 30s. Most marriages are going to end. The 90% of all marriages are going to end. 50% of them within the first like 4 or 5 years. So, it's not worth spending all that money on something, so trivial. So I've been keeping my eye on goldbacks. I can tell you, DM, I have a video I've worked on for a while and I keep giving up on it and stopping. Where, I'll write down all the information about goldbacks. Yeah, I hate goldbacks. I've given them away before. I've bought them and I've given them away before. But I think goldbacks is nothing more than, a scam. It's just, they're way overpriced. There's zero chance you're ever going to recover your money from them. It's just, I do not like goldbacks. They're really cool looking. I think they're really cool looking. And if the whole, the government switched to them, they'd be work. But the fact that they're, kind of that in between thing, I just can't see buying them. They're just too hard. Like I remember, so a while back when I was originally going to do the video about them, I called because, what was it, Colorado or whatever state, one of the first states that had them. They, you could go to goldbacks.com and they would list all the sites that you could go to or stores that would accept them. And I called like half of them, and most of them didn't even take them anymore because they were just such a pain in the butt to take. And then the ones that did accept them, the amount that they took wasn't worth it. Like you would buy something in the store that cost you $20 cash, it cost you $20 in goldbacks that you paid $40 for. I was like, well, how's that a deal? Hey, Gregory, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Mine lasted all 3 years. Yeah, it's just, that's it, Brad. I mean, I told my daughter, my first marriage was at the Justices of Peace. It lasted a year. So that's not saying anything. My second marriage, we spent not a lot of money. It was essentially, I rented out a restaurant. Her family came. We ate at the restaurant. We had a ceremony at the restaurant, like in their outdoor thing. It didn't cost me. I think like $5,000 for the whole thing. And that one lasted 10 years. So, but you see people that are spending like 20, 30 grand on it, it's like, don't put that down on a house. That way, if you get divorced in 5 years, 6 years, you sell the house, you each get some cash out of it. At least you're getting something out of it. So you can't get anything out of a old wedding. So I want to get some and put them in a picture frame. I mean, they're really good looking. If anyone gets a gold back, I will say I have thought about buying one of each just to have them on display, but just as an investment, they're just such horrible deals. It's just, I don't know why they don't sell them for just, a little bit, the way goldbacks would work is if they sold them for spot price. And then when they bought them back at a little less than spot price, exactly like gold coins. That's how all these gold sellers stay in business. If gold is $3,500, they add a little bit on top of that. For a gold bar, they'll charge you $3,600, and then when you sell it to them, they'll give you $3,400. That way, they make $100 from you when you buy it, and they make $100 from you when you sell it to them. Goldbacks is just ridiculously high. It's just like, okay, we're going to charge you $7,000, and then when you sell it back to us, we're going to give you, $3,200. So I don't know. Yeah, TM. They have a couple of videos of people melting them and getting the gold out, and I don't know if they've ever gotten. I want to say Red Nile did one too, but I know a couple people have done some videos, so you should have outsourced like I did. Grease my phone. Yeah, well, unfortunately, both my weddings, my in-laws hated me, so they weren't gonna pay for anything. Uh, you can get a flame. Yeah, I did. I don't know if I didn't know they still did that. I know they start it and stop it all the time for the gold backs, where you can get free one. But I know I got a free one a long time ago. So, Gene, yeah, that's one of the problems with doing reviews. If you don't have like me, a dedicated studio, is the hauling of the water. I mean, I still do it, but it's in my it's in my basement. If I drop the bucket, it doesn't matter. Sometimes if the material I'm panning is really clean, I just leave it and I just dump it into a bucket, let it settle, and pour it back in later. But I can tell you when I first, I think my videos, what was it? I think my original videos when I first started my videos were always indoors and they were in the bedroom. I had a little studio, just a table in my bedroom, and it was hauling a 5-gallon bucket through the house. And I'm just hoping I did not drop it on the carpet, Uh, Street Tips did it. Yeah, I know I've seen a couple. There's been a couple. I mean, Clash even did one. Clash did a video, but I don't think he did a very good one. SRIP would, Street Tips would be a great one to do it. Mm. Well, there you go, Gregory. You got a good one. So, Mega Dog, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Does anyone sell crystalline silver for sale? You could hit up Vendetta. That's who we're panning today. Vendetta Prospecting. You can go to his website, vendettaprospecting.com. He'll have his contact information on there. He used to do he does videos and he makes crystalline silver. So if you're gonna try to get some, you can ask him. And he doesn't. Street Tips does sell crystalline silver, but he charges a massive amount for it because it's got his name behind it. But hit up Vendetta Prospecting. It's been a while since I've seen him make some, but I'm sure he probably still does it and just maybe doesn't shoot videos about it. And, you could probably get some from him. So he is John Gear. He really is. So what happened to the good old shotgun wedding? That's the best. I would tell anybody, if you get married, just go to the Justice of Peace. And if you want to have something, like if you want to do something, the best way to do it, like I can understand some people want photos and stuff like that. Fly to Vegas. Get your 3 or 4 best friends. Say, let's all fly to Vegas. Get married in Vegas. Fly back. You spend the weekend. You're in it to like $5,000. You get a cheap American flight to Vegas, a cheap hotel room for 2 nights. You just fly up there. You get married. You spend the next night there as well. And then you fly back, PA, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. So, all right, we're going to get to panning again. Vendetta Prospecting. This is 100% ROI bag. I don't remember what I paid for it. I'm almost positive it was right around $400 because it says on the label 3.9 grams. And I haven't had this for that long. So gold's been right around $100 or so then. I didn't print up the sheet. I'm sure I have it. In fact, let me see if I do have a sheet for it. I can't print it, but I can look. Let me see. Go on my USB drive, YouTube videos, Tuesday bags. Let's see what this says. Well, that's just the picture. We don't want the picture. We want to get the info. Let's see. What did I pay for this? Well, all I wrote down was 4 grams. Like I said, I bought this. He knows it went to me. So, I wasn't going to review it or nothing. So, yeah, Vendetta only charges essentially what the silver spot is. He really doesn't charge much more than that. Because he makes it, and he gets a video out of it and all that. Like I said, Vendetta is probably one of the best people if you wanted to buy silver. I know a couple people that were buying ounces from him at a time. So, but all right. Let's try out this 4 gram. And just by the way, if anyone's got $5,000 laying around, nothing better to do, Vendetta Prospecting does have a $5,000 jug of Paydirt up for sale right now. I almost bought it, but then I remembered I'm poor and I don't have $5,000 on me. So I'll let somebody else buy that. Let me know if you do. I'm really interested to see what somebody gets out of it. So I really hope it's somebody in the community that we could find out what they get out of it, because I'm gonna be really curious to see about it, because it's got no guarantee. It's a no guarantee. It's guaranteed 1 ounce and above for $5,000. So I'm sticking to the 4 gram bag. Let's shrink down the ugly mug and go to the panning cam. We can start panning. So there we go. Get rid of me. The panning cam. I don't remember which dirt is this. This is Turkey Creek. So this is Turkey Creek Paydirt, but it was guaranteed 100% ROI. So let's move everything around and get my coffee. So I don't remember anything about this Paydirt. I bought it, a little while ago, not too long ago. It's been sitting on my shelf a couple months. But I'm assuming usually most 100% ROI bags tend to be smaller gold because, it's much bigger gold tends to have a premium to it. So God bless the working stiff. Hey, David, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. All right, let me see if I can get my tablet to work on the first go. Well, it kind of helps if I spell my channel name right, which I didn't do. So. Ancient ones. And of course I get an ad. I don't want no stinking ads, but they don't give me the chance. How? I'm not set up. See, I even came down here early today and I was like, I'm going to set everything up, get it all ready, and nothing's set up. So, what movie you watching? Something good? All right. Got this, and I need another towel. Spill stuff. There we go. There we go. 3.9, 100% ROI, Turkey Creek. Oh, life is good, just 8. I know. Tuesday is my one day that I probably drives me the craziest just because I can't eat until after the show. Because if I eat before the show, I'm going to eat after the show too. So I have to always kind of starve myself and just pick at little snacks and stuff till after the show. But tonight I'm having chicken and mac and cheese. So there we go. There's the material. I need to get some gloves. Oh, I saw a little piece of gold. It's always good. So it's not all micro gold, but Arizona material. Where are some gloves? Oh, I'm running low on gloves. I hate to even go look to see how much they're going to cost me now. Because generally, anytime I have to buy anything, I try to bulk buy it. And I think the last time I had to buy gloves, I bought 5 boxes of them, and I'm down to half a box now. So, Joe Dirt. And I just tore one. Well, there you go. We'll wear one glove today. We'll be like Michael Jackson, wear one glove. Joe Dirt is one of my son's favorite movies. I love that movie. All right. Here we go. Here's the Paydirt. We'll start panning. And if Mike, the other Mike, the Gold Nugget Sales, I need to email you to see if there's any special time you want me to have some bags of his Paydirt to pan out and give away. I need to see when you might want me to do that. Every night is either taco or ramen. Yeah, see, if I don't have my kids, I eat pretty much the same thing. So if I don't have my kids, I eat a salad with chicken or shrimp on it. Or I eat ramen with chicken or shrimp, or I eat mashed potatoes with chicken. That's about the three things I will cook. I buy all that stuff in bulk and just, easy to make. I can make it in, 5 to 10 minutes and eat. When my kids come over, I have to eat stuff. I have to cook stuff for them. So, nice big piece of quartz. In all my years of panning, I have only, I think, twice found a big piece of quartz in a Paydirt that actually had a little bit of gold in it. So, because usually you would just pan it out if it's a big piece. Those tiny little pieces, they'll, if you get a little bitty chip of, quartz, like something like that size, what's on my finger, you'll notice the gold on it just because it'll pan out different. But the big pieces, you kind of just watch them go right off the side of the pan. And I used to, back in the day, I used to go through them all after I'd do the review. I'd go back and pick through all and I think the first 6 years, I think I found 2 pieces that had little dots. It definitely wasn't worth the trouble. Hey, Package Total, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Yeah, that's what my kids, it's funny. Whenever my kids come over, like I said, I have them half the time. And I'll be like, when we have dinner, we'll watch a movie. And I'll say, well, what do you want to watch? And they always say a comedy. I'm like, there's only so many comedy movies. You have to pick action or drama or something else every once in a while, Especially my son's still a little bit young, so there's got to be age appropriate comedies too, Give him another year and it opens up another, couple 50 or 60 extra comedies. So some gold here. Oh, a couple floaters. Oh, I just saw a troubled one complaining about floaters in his Paydirt. I don't know what he was panning out, but get some floaters in this. This is all really thin. Even these bigger pieces are really, really thin. So I have to be careful tonight. Don't want to put too much in the Tuesday tailings. All right, I'll do that, Chris, and I'll send you here, let me, before I open my mouth and say I'm going to do something that I'll forget, let me go write it down. Yeah, I told him, so my daughter has been, and thank you very much, Kristen. Thank you very much for the offer. I just had to write down the email you. So I will do that after the show. But my daughter is in the process. In fact, tomorrow morning I get to go meet the inspector for her new house that she's bidding on. She bid on a house about 2 months ago, but it fell through after the inspection. So we're going to the new house tomorrow for inspection. But I told my son, I don't know what we're going to do for food once she moves out. Cooking for 2 people is like the worst number. Cooking for yourself is okay because you can be simple. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to taste good. You're just trying to get something in your belly. 3 people, 4 people, you're like, okay, let me put a little effort into it. But 2 people, it's just, it's like, I don't want to cook. Bite-sized panners, is it going? Beerman. I'm gonna have to definitely find some new recipes and stuff, because a lot of stuff, like I save a ton of recipes for stuff, and I don't want to say, I'm wasteful, but I'm kind of wasteful, I will, tend to eat more so I don't have leftovers. And when my daughter comes over and her boyfriend come over, I'll make a quiche or something, and it's like, okay, that's just one meal. But if I make a quiche for me and my son, that means the next day we've got to eat quiche again. And I've never been a huge fan of leftovers, ever. So, growing up as a kid, you had to eat leftovers a lot. So, Definitely have to start redoing all my recipes and finding recipes for two. You know, either that or I need to get married again so I can go back to three. Mm. That sucks, Eric's. I have found a good piece of specimen gold in the Tuesday tailing, Sean. Yeah, every once in a while, if there's been a couple pieces. I sent one to somebody else not too long ago. It was a really nice quartz and gold piece. But what's funny is I will swear there was one piece of quartz that I got, and it was so it was a piece of gold with quartz around it, so it looked like the Eye of Sauron. And I had it and I sent it off to somebody. And they sent me email like, oh, this is great, this is great. And then about 2 years later, I was making up bags of Paydirt. And I'm like, man, I got this piece of gold that looks exactly like the Eye of Sauron. And I swear it was the same piece that, the person I must have sent it to must have had to sell their gold to somebody who then put it in a bag of Paydirt. And I got it and, but then I sent it off to somebody else and they got it. I will say, speaking of cooking, since we always get to that, I did see the other day or yesterday, and or earlier today, and I had to bookmark it, was one of those outdoor grills, the Blackstone grills, and I was like, oh man, I should get one of these to do my outdoor cooking every once in a while. Because I finally built my fire pit, did that 2 weeks ago, so I could start burning my firewood and, having outdoor excursions, when the weather's nice, going out there and sit outside. But now I need a little something to cook, and I don't want to get a grill. I just don't like grills. So, like, maybe I'll get one of those Blackstone flat tops. So I can start cooking hamburgers, because I won't cook hamburgers inside. That's a nice pile of gold. Man, this stuff really likes to float. Man, definitely losing some of this in the Tuesday tailing, that's for sure. I'm gonna make a stew, use the same pot from what I used to. We eat stew for 7. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. It's I don't know what it is. Growing up, growing up poor, you tend to you'll make red beans and rice and you'd eat it for 3 days straight. So I have a thing. I don't like leftovers unless it's pizza, because then I like cold pizza better than I like hot pizza. So I don't want to do that, because and one, I like to cook for my son, my kids, because like I said, I don't cook for myself. So, but I'm definitely gonna have to find some new recipes. You can make chili, because like with chili, instead of using 4 cans of beans, I'll use 2, and 1 thing of tomatoes instead of 2. Those I can cut down. Just make smaller batches of chili or something like that. But definitely have to look. What you got? Yeah. Yeah, it's the best in a small house. HD's seen my house. I have a really small house. I think my house is 800 square feet, But the reason I liked it was because, one, it had a basement that was 800 square feet. So, nobody's going to count this basement as livable space. But for what I do, I mean, my basement is packed full of Paydirt and shelves full of, like gold pans and gold equipment and all kinds of stuff, projects. And I've got 2 totes just full of different matting and, grills or whatever I see at the hardware store. I'll be like, ooh, that would be good one day. I'll throw that on the shelf down here. So it gives me a ton of space for my hobbies, not a ton of living space upstairs, but like it's just me, and my kids every once in a while. So, but definitely small is the way to go. Keeps your utilities down, property tax down, and it also makes it more affordable if you ever sell your house, because, it's a lower priced house. You know. I mean, like my daughter's been hunting, and I've been going with her hunting for houses for the last 3 months, and we've been looking at houses in just all kinds of price ranges. And the higher the price range is, the longer it's sat, and the more times they have to lower the price. You know, where the ones that were like at a nice, reasonable price, within 4 hours they were sold or they were pending. So, and thank you very much for that, HD. And everyone, don't forget, tonight is the giveaway for spot number 6 of my giveaway for this 1.6 ounce silver bar from Cajun Bullion. So beautiful bar, 1.6. I don't know why I'm giving it away. I must be crazy or something. But 1.6, make sure you leave a comment in the hidden video, then stick around to the end of the show so you can claim it if I pull your name. We're not claiming the bar, but you'll claim spot number 6. Then next week will be spot number 7. Then the following week we'll do the giveaway. Even though I might push it back to the actual Patreon giveaway. I don't know why I scheduled it for that. So, but I don't want to add a spot. There will only be 7 spots, but we might delay the giveaway 1 week just to do it with the Patreon one. We'll have to see. I don't know why I picked 7 instead of 8. I'm sure I had some reason in my head at the time, but I just don't know what it is. So. I just came across a video you made for my dirt the other day. What dirt was that? Oh, and speaking of dirt, we'll talk about that in a minute once we're done panning this out, because I don't want to take away from Vendetta prospecting. My number 3, Paydirt. He's number 3. And if anyone hasn't noticed, I did update my top 10. I have updated my top 10. Gold Baron Paydirt is now in my top 10. I removed prospectinggear.com from my top 10. He's still one of my favorite sellers. I still like him. But unfortunately, he doesn't guarantee a gram of gold in his bag of Paydirts. And, well, I've never really gotten any horrible bags from him. I have gotten less than 1 gram, and pretty much everyone on my top 10 is just for the 1 gram bags. The best ROIs on the 1 gram bags, so which I should probably put on there. So, Scott, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. No, I didn't see Donna tonight. She must be too busy to come hang out with us tonight, or hopefully she's not under the weather. Yeah. And again, if anyone wants to go over to Vendetta's site and grab that $5,000 bucket, let me know. I want to know what's in it. I was talking to Vendetta the other day, and I said, oh, man, I saw that, and I wanted it bad. He was like, oh, just buy it. I was like, yeah. If I put that on my credit card, they're going to cancel me. They're going to know. They're like, he must be filing bankruptcy. Cancel him. But I want to know so bad what's in that 5,000. I want to know if there's any chunky big old nuggets in it. And there's not a ton of dirt either. I mean, it's a smaller jug. I mean, I think it's like a half-gallon jug probably. So if we're getting over an ounce of gold. You mean you want to? I know. I want to too. But, my daughter's buying a house, which means it's going to cost me money because, that's, that's what dads do. They take everything that they have left over and, which means I've got something coming up next week, to help fund, because like I said, my daughter did lose the last house she bid on, and she lost. Not only did she spend money on inspections and stuff like that, but she lost her payment on it, the Goodwill payment. So, so she's down $1,500 and now buying a new house. So, I'm gonna be, just cat out of the bag. I'm gonna be selling some Paydirt next week to fund, repaying her so she can start out her house not in debt. Clash has actually done two or three. Clash has done 3 bucket videos, I think. So he did his original one. He did and actually he's done a few of them, I think, because he did a 1 ounce bucket, a $2,500 bucket. He did a $5,000 bucket from Miners Depot, or $10,000 bucket from Miners Depot. One of the two. He did a really expensive one from Miners Depot. I think it was $10,000. And then he did the 2 buckets from Felix Paydirt, which I don't know why he did that one. But yeah, so like if I knew what was in that bucket, see, the only gold I buy in bulk or big things I buy are ones where I know I'm gonna get 100% ROI, because then I can turn around and put it in Paydirt, sell it, and get my money right back. But a 90% on $5,000 is a $500 loss. I can't afford $500. I am Jackson. Yeah, the reason they kept the good faith payment is because she backed out of the house. They couldn't, so it was all convoluted. I still, it's unfortunate. Her realtor is a friend of hers. I told her not to go with a friend of hers. It's always bad to mix business and friendship. But the way it worked was, she went and got the home inspection, and they had some major, it needed a new roof type, and it did. It needed a new roof. It needed some major work done, major grading work done, stuff like that. And my suggestion to my daughter was to tell them to fix it, because that way it doesn't matter what the cost is. If they fix it, then they fix it. If they don't fix it, you can drop out. And instead, my daughter listened to her realtor, who said just ask for a set amount of money, which was, I think, $12,000, which is essentially the cost of the roof, or $10,000. It was the cost of the roof, essentially, like a little bit over, which was a bad thing in my idea, but I wasn't there for it, because she was going to have to then cough up money for all the rest of the problems. But they didn't agree to it. They agreed to half of it, and then they also wanted to raise the price in the house for half. So so they didn't cancel the contract. So then my daughter had to come back, and essentially what happened was they kept going back and forth, and it wasn't giving my daughter enough to cancel at that point, because they kept agreeing to part of it. And then in the end, though, she was kind of out of love with the house and was kind of over it. And I finally convinced her that you didn't want that kind of trouble. They agreed to the $10,000. So the only way she could back out was to lose her money, so her good faith money. So, and I told her if she backed out and lost it, I would give it to her. So I'm gonna have to sell some Paydirt so I can give her that money. But it was better than, you're better off losing $1,000 than having to, put $10,000 of work into the house after, it's done and said. So, yeah, I've told her that. I told her, you never lend money to friends unless you don't want them as your friends anymore, because, you don't do business with them unless you don't want them to be your friends anymore. Oh, I just saw a big old chunker. See that? You see that in the pan? I'm moving the camera. I can't see the camera. All right, there you go. Big old chunker next to that rock. But, she wouldn't listen to me. Even the inspector, it was funny, even the inspector was telling her, don't listen to her because she's your friend, Because as I told her, it's, friends are friends, but if, the house fell into a hole the day after you bought it, she's not going to be your friend, take your phone calls anymore. She's going to be like, oh, well, too bad, so sad. I made my 3%, so. But that's it, Mike. That's it. Uh, My mom's kind of in that position. I've told her that, her house is getting to the point where it's really old, and anytime you look at it wrong, something breaks in the house. Like that's the house that needs a good old fire, Uh, how's it going, brother? I just started watching your video with you hanging out with Carson. I just love the part. You're like, every time we see each other, we're bending over. Yeah. But I did have a question, brother, if you're still around. I notice in all your videos with Carson, you're always up in Cali. Does he not like the hot desert sun? He doesn't want to come down to Arizona and hang out? Two chunkers. Those are two. I only saw one, but a nice big piece. And Mike, by the way, I'm trying to convince somebody to buy that $5,000 bucket of yours, your jug, so they could tell me what's in it. And look, I saved. After last week, I kept this one out so we can listen to it. So, but just to hang out, you do like YouTubers do. You take a nugget, you bury it 6 inches underneath the ground, and say, "Hey, Carson, why don't you come over here and look? Why don't you dig right in that spot, see what you find?" Yeah. Wow, you found a big old nugget, Carson. Look at that. No, that's it. That's the nugget. Yeah. You've been around YouTube long enough, Mike. You should know that. There doesn't need to be AU where you're. That's usually the best places to find the biggest gold. Oh, man, this gold really wants to float, man. I'm running out of my juice, man. That's a lot of fine gold, too. That's a lot of. I spent too much time talking earlier in this show. It might take me a while to clean this up. Yeah. But I will tell you too, Mike, they all said, but in secret, if somebody does that, if they buy the 5,000 jug, they just send it to me. Don't tell them anything about it, just send it to me. How's it going, Brad? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. All right, 2 pans left, then we'll go over there. Trade secrets. The Pioneer Polly secret. Every single video, his finger holding up a nugget. The biggest nugget ever. Biggest nugget sniping. Biggest nugget waterfall. Biggest nugget trapped on the ground. Biggest nugget snipe. Almost drowned with the biggest nugget ever. For the snakes and sparklers. Man, there's been so much rain this year all over. It's that global warming, Heats up the ocean. It's a dual effect, Heats up the ocean. That's a really nice piece. Might save that one. Heats up the ocean. Ocean evaporates. It rains a whole bunch. It gets really, really cold. Looks like a little line of gold. I'm going to save that and look at that later. You too, brother. You too. Hey, Culver. How's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Yeah. It was raining all day today. It was raining yesterday, and it sucks because the way it's been, I've been trying to dry out all my Paydirt because every summer over the course of a year of doing Paydirts, I usually get about 10 gallons of material, and then I dry it out during the summer, and that's my Tuesday tailings for the year. And it's just been raining. It rains like one day, then it's kind of like overclouded the next day, then it's raining. So I've only been able to dry up about a quarter of it so far. I'm like, I just need like 2 or 3 hot days. I can just put a tarp out, dump it all out. Because I need it to dry quick, because there's a lot of stray cats in my neighborhood. You know, I can't have it sitting out there all day. You know, they'll start putting that those little extra treats in the pay dirt. So I gotta be able to put it out, sit outside, do some yard work for an hour or so, and come back and it'll be dry. So, all right, this is the last of it. Last of the Vendetta Turkey Creek. I like this Turkey Creek. This is good stuff. I have to remember, I do have another bag of this Turkey Creek up there. I think we're going to do that in like 2 weeks, something like that. Because next Tuesday we're doing something, another Arizona Paydirt seller. But I do have another bag of his Turkey Creek. But I like his Turkey Creek. It doesn't have as much floaters, you know. It's the one problem with the Arizona Paydirt. A lot of it has a lot of stuff that floats in the pan. So, I mean, I still have stuff in my sink. You can probably see on the edge of my sink from the last Vendetta bag I did. Yeah. Lots of tree stuff. And again, don't forget the hidden link posted by my mods, which I appreciate. Thank you all very much for dropping those. The spot number 6 tonight for the upcoming giveaway for a 1.6 ounce silver bar from Cajun Bullion. So make sure you go leave a comment. Stay towards the end of the show so you get your chance to win. Get your spot in there. It always worries me a little bit when you're doing that little extra force to move out the big nuggets that you're going to watch just a big piece of gold go over the side too. Just advertises a big nugget in every bag. Yeah. They do that on eBay. You'd be amazed at how many times the description. So one of the 2 things I've noticed a lot on eBay is the word guaranteed is almost always spelled wrong. And probably if you went through every single eBay auction with Paydirt in it, probably half of them, at least half, have the word guaranteed spelled wrong. So one, that would technically, they could say, well, that doesn't mean, you know, that is made up Cajun word or something like that. It means something else, you know. But the vast majority of them do guarantee, say things like, you know, we guarantee you'll find nuggets. But since there's nothing that classifies what's a nugget, you know, this could just be a pan full of nuggets. This could be, you know, all that stuff up there could be nuggets, you know. Anything could be a nugget, so. Yeah, and that's how they, you know, that's how they sell their Paydirts. They convince people, you know, it's a golden Paydirt way. You tell somebody, oh, you're going to get a bag full of nuggets. People buy it thinking, oh, bag of nuggets. And don't forget, we also got this. Yeah. Getting ready to hit Ohio. You're always on the move, brother. That's up in northern Ohio, though, right? Yeah. There's all kinds. There's like, I remember back in the day, they don't do it too much anymore. They kind of get, you know, I think they've all been run off. But when I first started this channel back in the day, they used to have a lot of people that would put, you know, like bags of Paydirt, and they would say, oh, it has 1 GR of gold, guaranteed 1 GR, meaning grain. Because a lot of people would think that was gram, you know, and you'd get these bags of Paydirt with 1 grain of gold in them, you know, that you paid for a gram. So, as I know that used to be a big thing with nugget sellers too. You know, they put high magnification on these things and be like, you know, 1 gram nugget, and it'd be a 1 grain nugget, you know. But eBay, site of the unscrupulous, you know, shill bidding. And like, I remember when back in the day when I first started on eBay, I mean, this is, 15 years ago, shill bidding used to be one of the biggest problems, like everyone would do it. You just make two accounts, you'd put something up, you'd say, like, I'm selling this book. I want to get $100 for it. I'm going to put it up for 1 penny. Then I'm going to open my other account and bid $99.99 on it. If I win, I just won't pay and I'll relist it and wait for that one person that bids over 100 than somebody else, Are you going to Bear and Annie's? Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't say that because they're not in chat tonight. No, that's awesome. Yeah, tell them I said hi. I was looking at Bear's website yesterday. Yeah, yesterday and this morning, as a matter of fact, because he was out of Paydirt, out of everything. He just had his little stone buckets up for sale. Rose Nose Monkey Fest, huh? Yeah, the Bears one is on GPA claim, I think, and yeah. All too far for me. Man, this one piece of gold just keeps coming down to the bottom of the pan. It does not want to be with me. It desperately wants to go in the Tuesday tailings. Right. And what's funny is I think people must have access to my Google Calendar because I swear every time somebody's doing a fest or something like that, it's on the weekend I have my kids. So then it's not just me driving up and staying in some seedy motel. you know, it's like, oh, then I'd have to get an Airbnb and. I just bought an Opal Paydirt. Well, good luck with that. I've gotten two back Opal Paydirts before. I got one from the Alaskan Boys or whatever, some show they do, the Outback Boys or something. I don't remember what it was. I got two bags from them and a bag from somebody else, and none of them were good. But which is funny though. So like, I don't remember so there was some TV show about like some guys in Australia that do the opals or something like that. And the funny thing was they had a bag of Paydirt that you could buy, but they would charge you shipping from Australia. But then they had an American distributor that supposedly was buying it in bulk from them. And, I actually talked to them and they said, yeah, he is our legit like American distributor. His bag was better. It was like so much better. I was like, well, so the dudes that are actually selling it, that their name is 100% behind it because, they're sending the emails and everything. And it was just all chips and just junk. And his was actually had one decent piece in it. That was it, the Young Guns. So, So the American wasn't bad because I remember I sent I got two good pieces out of the American distributor one. And I sent them to one of my Texas buddies so he could polish it up and do whatever, keep it and do whatever he wants, just a gift for him. Yeah, but then the one I got from Australia, it was just like nothing. Because I sent them all to him and to my buddy in Texas, and the one from them, he was just like, you can't do anything with it. He was like, the only thing you could do with it is put it in a jar, fill it with water, and look at it. That's it. No. But it's the same. It's the same thing as I always tell people. I had somebody email me the other day, and they were asking me, like about descriptions. They were saying like they sent me a whole bunch of eBay descriptions, and they said, essentially like what should they look for in an eBay description for a good Paydirt, that would make it authentic. Because they were saying he wanted like authentic, real Paydirt that somebody pulled from a mine and stuff like that. And I said, there's none. I was like, 99%, 99.9% of any pay dirt is manufactured, you know. Sure, they might, you know, like Vendetta. He goes out there and he gets his dirt, and there is a chance that there might be gold, but it's going to be like one tiny little speck out of 1 pound. There might be one tiny, tiny piece of flower poop. You would never see it. You wouldn't know it. You know, you're not going to get a ton of gold. You know, the only person that's doing it is Yukon Alley. That's it. Dave from Gold Bay used to do it back in the day. That's why he became so popular. Because he would just throw in gold and stuff like that. But, you know, if somebody's on good ground, like if I was working a stream and I said, man, I'm, you know, like Yukon Alley the other day where she said she was finding like 5 ounces an, you know, an hour or a day or whatever it was. You know, if I'm on a stream and I'm just nailing the gold, I'm not going to say, well, let me bag it up and sell it on eBay. No, you're going to say, let me get this. And, you know, the dirt over there, that other hole we worked at for a week and didn't find a single thing, we'll get that dirt and sell it on eBay. So. Oh, that sucks, Jason. Yeah, I remember because that was like last week or the week before last. You were talking about how much you found from him. Because I actually have his stuff in my cart. I'm gonna have to. I want to get back to eBay. I've been staying away from eBay for a while, just because it's such a huge loss. But I want to like, you know, it's a tough thing when you're doing reviews, you know, and I have Patreon members. You know, if I spend $120 on Vendetta, it's a great Paydirt, and everyone's gonna know, but most people know that. But if I spend $120 on eBay, I'm gonna probably get $30 worth of gold. So, but I need to start buying a little bit of eBay Paydirt. I might start doing really short videos, like just 4 or 5 minutes, not show any of the panning or me talking too much. Just show you the Paydirt, give you the results, and you know, so I don't have to put a ton of time into it. Some of the $30 bags is to show what bad sellers on eBay. So, how much gold is in the average cubic yard in the gold mine? It depends. Good ones or bad ones. I mean, like if you watch the old Gold Rush show, they were talking about if they could find, you know, like 10 grams per yard. That's what I think was their break even on the old Gold Rush shows. You know, and last time I talked to Allison, I think she was telling me that they had to get a half ounce a day to break even, maybe, or it was a quarter ounce, but they need a big amount to break even. Because you got to think, like, you know, in most gold, so like for Allison, a lot of times what you're doing is you're going into debt. Like I text her yesterday, because by the way, it was her birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Allison. You'll have to spend a month just clearing dirt. So you're paying employees, you're, you know, burning through diesel, cooking and eating for everyone, paying all these things, paying insurance, lease fees, land fees, just spending a ton of money. So you're out, you know, $250,000 before you even get to where the gold is. So at that point, then you have to hit, you know, like where somebody who's like, oh yeah, it's costing you, you know, like $1,000 a day to run now. You only need to find 1,500. No, you still got to pay off the $1,000 a day you were running for 2 months, you know. Yeah, Michael Reed. There's like, you know, like you. There are some really good sellers on, you know, B Greeny when he was on there. There's some good Paydirt sellers on eBay. Um, Maybe I'll have to do that. Maybe that's something I can do is start like looking for a good seller and a bad seller to compare them. Like do a Paydirt battle. Um, oh, and Josh wants me to let everyone know his birthday's on the 22nd next week. So everyone can wish Josh Ortiz, one of my mods, a happy birthday next week. So, because I definitely won't remember that. So, it was fake turned gray and sticky and clumped together. Huh. Well, that sucks. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna write a note. I'm gonna probably buy a bag. I won't use a secret shopper. I mean, my eBay is not in my name, so I don't think he would know it was me. I don't put my name on my eBay account. But maybe I'll buy a bag, then I'll have a secret shopper buy a bag, you know, and check them out. Because I'd like to do one just to do it without the, and see. But man, hey, Alan, how's it going? I was thinking about you. I was like, I was scrolling through my Patreon the other day, and I was writing down names and looking at guesses and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I haven't seen him in a live show in a while. But then again, I am half senile, so maybe I was like, maybe he was here. I just don't remember. I was like, oh, but good to see you, brother. Because I started thinking about you because I right after that, right before that, I was looking at Mammoth Golden Nuggets. So I was looking to see if they had anything in stock yet. So yeah, Brian, Indiana Creek, good stuff. I mean, there's some good sellers. 'Cause a lot of times people, they just want to sell their little bit of gold in some pay dirt and make a little bit of money on the side, but they don't want to open up a website, That's the deal. But then, it's finding those those 3 bags out of the 300 listed, it's the tricky part. So Johnny Gold, is he a good eBay seller though? This was guaranteed. So this was a 100% ROI bag of Paydirt, and I'm pretty sure I paid $400 for it. So um, it should have some good gold in it. So I did buy it like probably 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know. Maybe it was $300. Maybe it was 350. I don't know. At 3.9 grams. It said it on the bag, so I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. It said 3.9 grams. I don't remember what I paid for it. I didn't write it down because Vendetta knew it was going to me. So yours is Friday. Everyone's having their birthdays. Well, maybe I'm having a birthday too. Yeah, mine's in September. Yeah. Hopefully you've been doing well, Alan. Yeah, but I definitely want to go back to visiting some, because there's not too many bad sellers on websites. I mean, there's the guy with like the 50 sites, but one of these days I still want to do all of his pay dirts. And maybe I'll start doing that, a mix of his pay dirts and eBay pay dirts, like one a month, and just make it like a 5-minute video. Because I just want to do them just so they'll get, once I put them on my website and they're on YouTube, they will get indexed by Google. So if people look them up, there's a chance that they'll find my video and not buy it and waste their junk, you know. Because as much as I love Vendetta and Gold Nugget sales and a lot of these sellers I review, I think we all know they're pretty good. So, and I like to keep going through their pay dirt so you'll know, like, in case you didn't, last week I did a review on Vendetta's $200 bag with no guarantee. And it was a great bag of pay dirt. I mean, I knew it was going to be a great bag of pay dirt, but it was much better than I thought it would be. So, what do you get? You get me to say happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday to you. A little bit early, but that's about it. You moving? Uh-oh. Somewhere good, I hope. Not like the Popo or Penn or something like that. Hey, Mandy's Candy. How's it going? Love to move to a desert. Oh, I couldn't do the desert. So, see, it sucks. Like, I would love to move to the desert because I think you got the best chance of finding, a good place where you could mine in the desert in Arizona or somewhere just because it's so harsh. But then that's what it sucks. It's harsh. You'd have to, truck in water because any place that you're going to have gold, you're going to truck in water just to live off of. Or you go to California where you can get some good gold out of some streams and stuff still. But then you're paying, $10 for eggs and, living in a shack for 10 grand a month. So, uh, Either that or I just need to get my passport and go hang out with Allison, you know, Yukon Alley. So, but then I also need to lose some weight because I think she's going to put me to work if I go visit Allison. And my fat toe would pass out and have a heart attack, and she doesn't want that trouble. uh, Try not to be too rough with this Paydirt because it's got a lot of fine gold in it. You can't see it, but I can see it. Almost done. I think that's about as clean as I'm gonna get it. Where did that piece go? Oh well. No, we got that. And we also got the nugget we got to put back in there too. So it's a nice piece of gold. There we go, and a nice little nugget. Well, the smart gold miners in California don't publicize. Let's just say that if you're on good gold in California, you're probably not allowed to be where you're finding good gold. So they're not going to advertise it because they don't want the wildlife and fisheries coming and shutting them down and taking all their equipment, and putting them on a blacklist and watching that spot. There's like if you ever watch any of the videos on TikTok where they'll see somebody and say, "Who is this?" and they'll call them out and let you know who they are, or they'll say, "Where did this crime happen?" Tech is really, really good. If you post a video saying this is where I'm at, they'll go back and say, "Look, he drove by this bridge here. That means he's here. He drove for another 3 minutes." They'll figure out wildlife is not a joke anymore. They can find people, and they got guys who do nothing but that all the time. So more than you need for your birthday. Yeah, we come down here, brother. Yeah, well, there we go. There's Vendetta gold. There we go. So you can stay right there. Now y'all got to force to look at my ugly mug. Mm. Yeah, TM. Make sure you hit that button. So, you know what? I got a little bit of extra time. I might pan out some more Vendetta. I got some more Vendetta. We're gonna pan out a little bit more Vendetta, add to that pile. So we got a little bit there. We're gonna pan a little bit more. We're just gonna add it to it. So just because we got a little time. I got a bag of Vendetta that's been sitting on that shelf for a while. With some Crevice Patreon Paydirt. I got this being a Patreon member a long, long time ago. I won this one on his Patreon or something, and that's when I had to tell him not to send me anything for Patreon. So if I join someone for Patreon, it's just to support them. So I'm just gonna dump it straight in. And, oh Lord, that's a big old nugget. Thank you very much, Tom Cat. I appreciate that. Because it's funny. So whenever I do these Tuesday schedules, because I schedule everything out, like I just finished writing my schedule all the way till December. So I know like what Paydirts to get in, when to look for secret shoppers and stuff like that. And so I have all my Tuesdays planned. And when I get these weird bags, like this one's got 0.4 in it, I'm always like, oh, well, I just don't put it on there because I need a certain amount of gold every single month to give back to my Patreon members. I have, my $79 tier members. I have to have a set amount of gold to give to them. I have to have gold for, my gold guessing contest. So I have to schedule it and say, okay, I'm going to do, 2 grams here, 3 grams. And that's why sometimes like, last month I had to do a 5 gram from Gold Baron because that's how much gold I needed extra just to have all my Paydyrts. So when I have these little bags like 0.4, I'm always like, well, I can't throw that one in because I need like 2 grams that day, you know? But this is why I keep them, just for things like this if I don't pan out enough. So I just need to stop panning so fast. So yeah, I'm going to show you the gold again. We're going to add to it. We're going to add a little bit more gold to it and make it even a nicer pile. So, so we're just going to keep adding to this. I also have 2 bags of, I will show you, I have 2 bags from Vendetta that I love. So he just sent me these, Mike sent me these a while back. And this one, I don't know if you can read it because of the blaring lights. But this one says some, Vendetta Prospecting, gold added some. And then this one says none. Can't see it because of my stupid lights. But one bag says some, one says none. So that's why we haven't panned those out for a while, because again, sometimes I need a set amount of gold. But they're there for the next time I need extra time to pan, so. Hey, Fox Rider, how's it going? So as a $79 tier member, the way it works is first you get the welcome letter that has a gold-plated dime and stuff like that. But then at the end of the month, so right now you'll be entered. So I have a gold guessing contest up right now. I'll send you a message later tonight on Patreon, send you the link to it. So you'll guess on the gold nugget, because as a $79 tier member, you get an entry. Oh, acorn. Must have been a squirrel there. So you get a chance to win, and this month is a, what is it, a 1.75 gram bag of Paydirt and or 1.8 or something like that. I don't even remember. But there's 2 bags of Paydirt you can win just for that. And then you also, at the end of the month, you will get a guaranteed bag of Paydirt sent to you. So you're guaranteed a bag of Paydirt just at the end of the month. I send you, it ships out the first Tuesday of the next month. So you got like, whatever it is. I don't know what the calendar is. So in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll send you a bag of Paydirt for this month's patronage. And it's guaranteed at least a half a gram. So, and it's usually right around there with gold prices as they are now. And then you also get entered into the contest. So you can guess. And then so it's got a couple things, it's the only tier where you're guaranteed Paydirt. In all the other tiers, you're just guessing and hoping you can win a bag of Paydirt. But in that tier, you're actually guaranteed a bag of my Miller Prospecting Paydirt every single month, which is actually just my Tuesday tailing. So when I do these live shows, all the dirt that's panned here just goes in a bucket. I dry it out, put it in bags of Paydirt. So if I miss any gold, if any gold falls over, it stays there. I don't go back and pan through any of this material again to see if I missed anything. It's gone for good. So until I put it in a pan for you. So hope that explains. If not, send me a message on Patreon. I'll send you a message later tonight to thank you for joining and all that. Which means I might not send you out your welcome letter for a day or two because I still have to make more gold-plated dimes, wrap them all up and stuff. The one and only, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. This is a nice little pile of gold forming here. So oh, that was like a nice little picker in there too. Man, this Vendetta dude. I like his Paydirt. This is why he's my number 3. Like I said, when Vendetta first came in, the 2 mics, there's just something about the 2 mics that just When Mike first joined the community, he went balls to the wall, just helping everyone, doing stuff for everybody, and joining everyone's Patreon page and supporting everyone and doing all these things. It was absolutely wonderful. Crazy Paydirts and giveaways and all kinds of stuff. And I know he's taking a step back right now because he's spending more time with his family and stuff, which is always good. I'd rather him do that than spend all his time hanging out with me and stuff and live shows. Can I buy Paydirt from you? Well, typically I don't sell Paydirt, but I am going to be putting some Paydirt up for sale next week, I think. But I'll talk about that once we're done panning. I'm gonna go through the Paydirt because just typically I don't sell Paydirt. I only do it on rare occasions when I think of something cool, like a cool Paydirt to put out. Okay, it looks impressive, but let's see what it makes. It's a nice little picker for a small bag, but yeah, no real sound to it. It is pretty though. It's a nice little piece. I'm not gonna complain. Something a little bit chunky. So typically, me selling Paydirt, I think this year I haven't sold any this year. Last year I think I only sold Paydirt once. So it's pretty rare that I do it. I don't do it too often because it's 0.2. You thinking? I don't know. Let's see. I'm thinking like 0.1. It's really, really light. It's kind of like that nugget that the other mic on the gold vlog showed off today. It looks big, but it's not. It doesn't have the weight. Still got a little bit more. Stickers and pickers. That would be a good channel name. 0.14. I don't know. Is it probably in the? I don't think it got up to 0.2. We'll have to see when we see all the gold because this bag only has 0.4 in it. So this wasn't a very hefty bag of Paydirt. It didn't have a lot of gold. It was just a Patreon bag. And originally this was going to be a shelf bag, but then I got the Vendetta custom Paydirt and the printed cloth bag. So I put that on the shelf and kind of put this one for a panning day. So you need to get some Paydirt eventually, brother. Sooner better than later because the price of the way gold's going and the way they're talking about it. I mean, it wasn't too long ago they were talking about it hitting 3,000, then 3,500. Now they're starting to talk about 4,000. I even was reading an article today where they're really, really thinking $6,000 really soon. Yeah, so you'll get a guaranteed bag of Paydirt just by being a $79 tier member, and you'll also get a chance to win a bag of Paydirt as well. So just by guessing on some gold. It's going to 10K or more. Oh, eventually it will. I'm just talking about like soon. Like I know they were saying now they're thinking it's going to hit 4K before the end of the year, and then 6K within the next 3 years, or by the end of the this presidency. They were saying they think it'll hit 6K. No, Annie, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. Bear prospecting. Another one of my top 10 sellers who's out of Paydirt. Like half my top 10 are out of Paydirt right now. You want to win more? Yeah. That's the way, is to win it and then just stick it on a shelf and wait for it to go up a whole bunch in price. I was a sucker when I decided to review Paydirt. And then give it all away afterwards. I did not think that through before I started my channel. Like, hey, I'll review Paydirt, get people to subscribe to me, and then I'm going to give away all the gold I find. Mark, how's it going, brother? Thank you for doing the show. Working on that problem. That's good. That's good. I did see your buckets, though. Those are cool buckets. I like the little rock buckets. Look at all this fine gold. Can y'all see that? Trail fine gold. Whew. Yeah, that's. I know a few people on this channel that do that. That's why I tell everybody that's what my shelf Paydirt is. You know, so I have a couple bags of Paydirt on my shelf that are, you know, in the eventuality that I'm past, it's for my kids. They're gonna have to work for that money. You know, that's their inheritance. They're gonna have to like learn how to pan. You know, either that or get some tweezers and magnifying glasses and start picking. And thank you very much for dropping that PA. I appreciate it. Then link in case anyone hasn't missed it, and I will show you. Today is spot number 6 of 7. Next week will be number 7, and then the following week we'll do the giveaway. But this is spot number 6. I'm giving away a 1.6 ounce silver bar. So if you're a stacker, this is a 1.6 ounce custom made, hand poured from Cajun Bullion. So definitely a cool bar. Giving that away just for watching the ugly mug on, you know, YouTube, putting up with me, watching me do some pan. Yeah, this is a much tougher bag than the other one. This was his crevice dirt. I like this one too. Not a lot of organics. You know, anyone that knows me knows I just dislike panning. You know, I love Vendetta, but a lot of his material does have organics, and I just hate panning organics. I really do. Only thing worse is clay, maybe, but you know, you very seldom ever see clay in Paydirt. Yeah. But I like this bag. I definitely like the Turkey Creek. That one, I think Turkey Creek might be my favorite from Vendetta so far. It was good. It was tough. This one's good too. This crevice Paydirt. This one has a lot of fine gold in it. Try not to lose it. This is not my favorite pan for trying to pan out black sands. Didn't use a magnet. No. I got the only time I use a magnet is if I'm running out of time. That's it. If I'm running out of time, then I'll use a magnet, but I got a little bit of time. You know, and now that I said that and look at the clock, I start thinking, okay, well, how much time do I have? Right, Nuggets wanting to move, huh? Hey, Joey, how's it going? Rare site Miller. Well, that's just because my other pan's full. Originally, I was just going to dump this into this and then pan the two of them out together. But I kind of want to see what this pan looks like just by itself. So I'm using the other riffles. And like I said, I do not like using these riffles. I do not like using these riffles in a train with 3 eggs and ham. I don't like these riffles with a fox in a box. But and the only reason I don't like using riffles like this for moving gold is because if you mess up, it's gone. Whereas if you're doing the backwashing and you mess up, you can reset, you can start panning over again, and you don't lose anything. If I lose a little bit of gold now, it's in my tailings down here, and which isn't bad. It's my Tuesday tailings, so it's not a big deal. But it's just out of habit. You try to pan the way that'll be the most successful without losing gold. So. I think I'm almost there. That nugget definitely wants to move. Left-handed. No, these are right-handed ripples, man. They don't make no left-handed pans. This pan is about as seasoned as you can get. I've been using this pan for probably 4 years now. I mean, I'd have to go back because I was using a green pan before this one. I still have the green pan somewhere. It's still sitting on my shelf somewhere. But I moved from green to blue. This is the same pan I've been using probably 3-4 years. So it's definitely seasoned. It just doesn't look seasoned because it's got some pretty bright lights on it. So I gotta have bright lights or I won't see. But you'd be surprised. I get more comments from that. I get more comments like that, dude. You're losing gold. Your pan's not seasoned. It's like, no, it's just the lighting. I used to. I don't do it anymore because I kind of gave up on it. It was too much of a hassle. But I used to do an end of the year review on myself, where I would take all my tailings. So I save all my tailings, and I would run all my tailings through a gold cube and figure out exactly how much I'd lost and missed over the year doing all my reviews and everything. And it was never significant. It was like 0.1 out of an entire year would be what I missed. If even that. So you're looking at like 50 reviews and 50 Tuesday shows, and you know it'd be like one piece of flower gold out of every single video. So I stopped doing that, and then that's when I started doing the Tuesday tailings, and just I figure if I miss something, somebody will get it. But I think that's it. I think that's what we got out of this one. This is a nice looking 0.4 bag. So we got, this is the yin and the yang of point. Let's see if we can get this 0.4 bag. I just knocked a whole bunch of dirt. And the 4 gram bag. So 0.4, 4. I don't know if we'll get them both in the pan. Four grams versus 0.4 grams. So that's it. It's like if you could see the pan, you could see it's really a dull pan, which is funny. Like all my pans, this one is really dull too. It's just in the light. It's just because it's wet. You know. And which is weird because it doesn't do that with the green pan. With the green pan, it looks old and used and dingy. It's just blue for whatever reason. It's not a good color for showing that it's all worn out, you know. But all right, all done with the panning. That means y'all got to look at my ugly mug now. Oh, let me move my coffee before I knock it over. But don't forget, I'm going to be pulling a name in a minute for spot number 6. So don't run away yet, because if I pull your name, you must post something in live chat before the end of the show. So make sure if you left a comment in the hidden video, you stick around for a few more minutes. Where is, there we go. So I just posted the hidden link. Make sure you go over there, leave a comment. Let's shrink down. Shrink down the gold. 4 grams versus 0.4 grams. Now it's ugly mug time. All right, let me open up chat so I can catch up on chat. Ride the horse and listen to this, brother. Enjoy the trail, brother. Black pan. I can't deal with the black pans. It hides the magnetite too much for me. So I will tell you, I do prefer. I mean, there's a lot of colored pans out there. I've tried red pans and pink pans, and I can't stand them. I don't like the purple pans. My favorite is probably my blue pan, and then it would be green. And then if I had to, I could use a black pan. But black pan's just, to me, just too hard to lose. I just don't see the like magnetite on it or hematite on it. Black sands to me are just really hard to see on a black pan. And it is because my eyes are kind of worn out and shot, so, you know. But everyone's eyes are, I read a good article about it a while back, a couple of years back, where everyone's eyes see contrast differently. So where gold and blue will vastly contrast each other a lot for me, so somebody else, it might be pink. That's why I always tell people, and you know, if you're gonna buy a gold pan, don't just buy a blue, because I buy blue. You know, pans are $10 a piece. Go $8, $5, especially if you're getting them shipped to you. Buy a couple of them. Buy a blue pan, buy a black pan, buy a green pan. Get all 3 of them. Use all of them, and see which one you like best. So, you know, it's probably the cheapest part of equipment you could buy is just getting a gold pan. Have you tried a white pan that glows in the dark? No, I have tried I've tried some weird colors. There was one that was like kind of like a tan pan, and that one I didn't like. But a lot of it for me too is just the feel. You know, one of my big gripes, show you on this pan. One of my big gripes about a pan is how it curls. So one of the reasons I really like my SE pans as well as my Martin pan is because the edges are actually rolled over. So it's not a sharp edge. Where a lot of pans that are made nowadays, they're actually a sharp edge. And, you know, if you're panning a lot, you don't want something in the crook of your hand, you know, just being a little sharp. And it just, you know, I like a finished edge on the edge of my pan. So I need the whole kit with classifiers too. Just go to my website, millerprospecting.com. Go to, I think, the shop channel. I have all the equipment that I use on my channel. Everything that I use on there. So, yeah, if you send me one, I'll pan with it. So, as long as it's not like some giant, like, you know, 2-foot pan, I'll be struggling to fit it in my sink. But if it's a 10-inch pan that I can fit in my sink, I'll try it once, yeah. No. Sandpaper edge. I do. Usually I use the little, I forget what they're called. They're aluminum things for scraping aluminum, you know, to get the edge, deburrs. I usually use a deburr on them, but even then it's still just not as comfortable as having a rolled edge. You know, a rolled edge on a pan doesn't cost them anything extra when they're forming it. When they're forming it and they're making it, they can make it a rolled edge. It just, you know, saves them 1/10 of a penny or something, you know, so. But yeah, just email me, Annie, and I'll send you my address. Dylan at Miller Prospecting. I think that would pop. Or do I need to put this thing up there? Oh, no. See, okay. Yeah, Dylan at Miller Prospecting. Just email me. I'll send you my address, and I'm more than happy to pan it. I might even try to pan it with the lights off. So, yeah. Or I might have to, what I'll do, I will pan with it during a live show, but before the live show, I'll do some panning with the lights off in my studio, because it's a pain in the butt. If I turn off my lights during the live feed, it'll kick in a whole bunch of stuff on my OBS. So, all right. Yeah. But back to a couple things. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So first off, make sure you went to the hidden video. It's posted above. So you get spot number 6 for this 1.6 ounce silver bar from Cajun Bullion. So that will be coming up. Next week will be spot number 7. And then the following week we'll do the giveaway or somewhere around then. Right now, who do we have in there? We have Rinky's Carnage Crew, Aaron Mack, John Gear, Michael Reed, and Bierman's Prospecting. So one more. And now Saturday, I do have a video coming out this Saturday. Arizona Paydirt. It's not Vendetta. So Arizona Paydirt. Next Tuesday, we're going to go through another Arizona Paydirt that's not Vendetta. And then we're going to go back to Vendetta and stuff like that. But next week, probably in the middle week, maybe it'll be on the weekend, I don't know. Coming soon to Miller Prospecting. Dr. Miller's Miracle AU Elixir. So got some new Paydirt coming out. This is going to be my new Paydirt. It's about 8 ounces of material, and it's mostly going to be small gold. All black sands. It's almost all black sands. Keep a flashlight with you. So it's almost all black sands and 8 ounces of it and a lot of fine gold. It will be 1 gram. There might be a bigger one too. There might be a 3 gram one. I don't know yet. So I mostly made these. These are glass. So these will be in boxes shipped, and they're going to cost just a little bit over spot. So you won't get 100% ROI. I always try to give really good ROIs on my Paydirt when I do put them out. But, I bought glass bottles, had custom-made stickers. And you want to hear something? So when I got these stickers made, I originally spelled it wrong. I spelled some of the stuff on it wrong, and I wasn't even paying. I don't know what I was doing. So I had to make the stickers twice. I had to have the stickers paid twice. So this one I kind of made up for like a shelf Paydirt, where even after you panned it out, you could definitely put it back in there and put it on your shelf somewhere. It's Dr. Miller's Miracle AU Elixir. So they will be a few bucks more than Gold Spot, whatever Gold Spot is. Like if it's 104 right now, they'll probably cost like 108 or something like that, just to pay for the bottle and the, a little bit more, just because I went overboard paying for, amber bottles and stuff like that and stickers. So they will be a tougher bag of Paydirt or jar or glass vial or whatever you want to call it of Paydirt. So if you're not a great panner, you definitely might want to buy these. But one of the things is they are going to be tiered. There's only going to be so many. Usually when I put them out, I just drop them, first come, first serve. But this time I want everyone in each tier to make sure they have a chance to get them. So there will be only a few for the $5 tier. There will be a few for the $10 tier, and then a few for the $25, $79 tier. So, I will let everyone know, like the day before, I'll make a post on Patreon showing you more about them, telling you exactly what's in them, percentages of gold and stuff like that. Yes, that's what it was supposed to be, because that's why it's an elixir. It's supposed to be an old snake oil bottle. So it's harking back to the old days when guys were selling snake oil. And this is, the gold rush in a bottle. It's my magical elixir that'll help you get rid of that, it'll help you curb that gold fever you might have. Originally, when I had them done, I was going to have a back label, but I couldn't get them to print the print small enough in the way I wanted it to put a back label explaining and making it more like snake poison. But, But yeah, this is my old snake oil bottle of Dr. Miller's AU elixir. It's a miracle AU elixir too. So they are going to have 1 gram. I might do so. The way it's going to work, like I said, there's going to be a few bottles for each tier. I might make a 3 gram for each tier or a 2 gram for each tier as well. Those will obviously cost more, but I don't know if I might throw a bonus. I did get some little pickers today. Maybe I'll throw one of those in each of them and just be random. I don't know. So we'll have to see. Adam, how's it going? Man, you said you were going to sleep a while back when you were a troubled one. So I will let everyone know like a couple days beforehand when they're releasing, how much they're going to be and all that. And then it'll be a free for all. So, but they are limited. I only have 24 of them. So I only got 24 bottles in. I only had enough gold for 24 bottles. Anything extra I have, like I said, I might make a couple bigger bottles. But so it's going to be limited to 24 bottles. So save your money next week, next 10 days, within the next 10 days. You don't want to be getting no other sellers' Paydirts. So it will be, like I said, it will be close to 100% ROI because I'm going to try and keep it as close to spot as I can and, not go broke. But, it's going to be 12 ounces. I should be able to ship them for like $5 or $6 and I can eat that cost. But, paying for the bottle. So if gold spot stays like $105, it'll probably be like 108 or 109. Maybe 110, who knows? We'll have to see. So, but yeah, so that's what's coming. We got a new review Saturday, panning out some more Paydirt next Tuesday, some Paydirt coming down the line from Miller Prospecting on my Patreon page. So, so that's it. So that's what I popped into trouble when I saw him saying he was going to bed. That was like 2 hours ago. So 2.5 hours. So, but and again, if anyone wants to get that $5,000 jug from Vendetta Prospecting, let me know. I need to know what's in it. Ever since I've seen it, because he doesn't guarantee a set amount, which I really, really like. I like that, with Vendetta, you're getting a good deal with a $5,000 jug. It's going to be over an ounce, but I want to know. I would need to know. So if you get it, or if you know someone that gets it, or anything, if you just hear through the grapevine that somebody's getting it, I need to know what's in it. So, and yes, this would definitely look good on a shelf. So, look good on that shelf. No, unfortunately, it's not going to look good on my shelf. I only want to display other people's Paydirt on my shelf. So these guys sell, like I said, daughter just bought a house. I promised her some stuff that I don't have the money for. So selling some gold. So no, I did not do the drawing yet. We were going to do the drawing right now. So yeah, it's a big jug. So, all right, let's shrink down the ugly mug. We got to say bye-bye to the gold. No. Then we're going to do the drawing. All right, let's shrink down. Oh, let me go get make sure all of the comments go through. All right, all the comments went through. We can do this. Let's shrink down the ugly mug and do the drawing before Refocus loses connection. So, and there we go. What is this? That's the best website in the whole universe, millerprospecting.com, with my brand new updated top 10 recommended sellers. You'll see a few people have moved around. One person is missing. One person has been added. Gold Baron Paydirt was added. Prospecting gear has been removed. Last video posted the Vendetta Prospecting Sonoran bag with, it was a huge gamble, $200, no guarantee. We all know it wasn't a huge gamble. We all know I made out like a bandit on that one. But if you don't know, you got to go watch that video. Last 100 reviews, there it is. Vendetta Prospecting. Worst ROIs of all time. Oh, I can honestly say there has not been anyone on my worst list for a while now. So that worst list has not been growing. Sellers to avoid, things like that. So Miller Prospecting. Everything you know. And if you need to know what pans and stuff like that, let's go to shop button. It shows you all the pans, everything I use, all the actual equipment I use. So, but all right, let's get to the YouTube comment picker. There we go. Good luck to everyone. Make sure, again, YouTube and its affiliates have nothing to do with this giveaway. It's 100% on me, just to get back to people looking at my ugly mug. But if I pull your name, you must post something in the live show or you lose your spot. You do not get it, and next week we'll just pick somebody else. So continue, anything goes. Load up them comments. 47 comments. Not a lot of comments today, but all right. And there he is, the man trying to go to sleep. I hope he hasn't fallen asleep yet. Adam Weiss. You know, he probably fell asleep. He was like, I'm tired of waiting for Miller Prospecting to pull my name. Here, did I win? You did win, but are you here or are you asleep, brother? So, all right. Miller Prospecting's website, best website ever. Again, everything. I buy gold, gold Paydirt reviews, gold Paydirt battles, anything you want to know, Miller Prospecting's where channel to go to. So, all right. Ugly mug time. Let's see if Adam's posted yet. There we go. Awesome. He is here. So congratulations, Adam. You're today's winner. I appreciate you being here. Staying up for late just to win. All right, Rafotra. Sorry you didn't win, brother. Now you can pay attention to the trail. Much more fun. No. But I'm going to get out of here. Again, Saturday I have a new review coming out that is from it's an Arizona Paydirt that is not Vendetta prospecting. Next Tuesday, we're going to pan out more of that seller's Paydirt. And then the next 10 days or something, Dr. Miller's Miracle AU Elixir. Cure that gold fever. So I'm out of here. I hope everyone has an absolute great week. And hopefully we'll see you all next Tuesday. But have a great one. Find that gold.